It's out of the pocket, sets, steps up, in trouble. And knocked down, ball loose, ball picked up. Jalen Redmond, don't meet me there, beat me there, touchdown. Oklahoma, 42 yards.
Welcome back. We're joined by Emerson. Emerson's back finally. Emerson, how you doing today?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing good. Nick's with us. Nick, how are you today?
Great. Absolutely terrific.
Absolutely awesome. Okay. Let's
Oklahoma and Kansas City won, so I can't complain.
Yeah. Emerson's a Kansas City fan, too.
Yeah, he's just on top of the world. Congratulations, Emerson.
You beat Dallas. They are good this year.
It's only because CeeDee Lamb was concussed and got hurt.
Person and stuff, right?
It does.
No, the only reason Kansas City won was because CeeDee Lamb got injured.
And it
was
I know
he didn't do anything all game before that. He didn't do anything in the first half, so don't give me that.
Well, hey,
Ward is
you
that
play four quarters of the
Oklahoma
game,
beats
don't you?
Iowa State 28-21 in Norman, Oklahoma on Fox yesterday. The offense was pretty sluggish. I think we had like 96 yards passing only.
It wasn't pretty.
It wasn't at all. Nick, what stood out to you with that game?
Defense played extremely well.
They played very well.
They were actually flying to the football. They weren't missing as many tackles, and they had pressure on the quarterback. And that's what won us the game here. That's kind of my takeaway from this whole game. Like, defense just played lights out. They, were getting after Brock Purdy. They were making some hard hits. Perion Winfrey took the soul of Brock Purdy.
Oh, yeah.
It was terrific.
Oh, you love to see it. Oh, what a play, man. Talk about that's why you pursue. That's why you pursue as a defensive lineman or anyone on the backside of the defense. And yeah, it's great. Love to see it.
But the funniest thing about that is that it happened to be Perion Winfrey. Out of anybody on that defense, it was him.
The biggest, baddest mamma jamma, dude. Yeah.
Right.
And plays like that, I guarantee you, 4 out of 10 times that ball comes loose on a hit like that. That's how you force turnovers, and that's how you become a great defense, is plays like that. So.
And here's the thing, though.
It's also a mental game.
It is,
it's
absolutely.
A mental game.
Absolutely. But Oklahoma,
yes.
Oklahoma came into this game ranked number 1 in the Big 12 in takeaways. We had 17 coming into this game. We ended it with 20. We get 3 turnovers in this game. 2 picks. We got a strip ball taken to the house for 42 yards. Key Lawrence makes a huge hit on Brock Purdy. The ball goes flying, and Jalen Redmond for 42 yards to the house with about 9 seconds left in the first half.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say Jalen Redmond looks 100% healthy, and you'll love to see it, man. He looks fantastic. Talk about a great play for Keyshawn Lawrence and Jalen Redmond. And Keyshawn, and then towards the end of the play, you see Keyshawn getting a block on an O-lineman trying to track down Jalen. So it's like, a great team play, a great effort play right before the half. That's a huge swing in momentum for – and Iowa State was moving the ball. They were getting – starting to threaten, so huge.
Right, and, Key Lawrence also had another forced fumble. Iowa State falls on it, but just a really good heads-up play.
Oklahoma forced 6 fumbles on Iowa State on Saturday. They recovered 1, but, you got to get the ball on the ground in order to get turnovers. So they've at least got one portion of the equation definitely down, and they're getting the other half of the equation figured out as far as turnovers.
Right.
And I think they're now like +9 in the turnover margin. So
we'll absolutely take that.
Yeah. It's a lot better than we have been the last couple of years as far as turnover numbers.
Yeah, and fellas, here's another stat here. Oklahoma had 9 tackles for loss, and that was coming from multiple guys. It wasn't just the same guys making these plays. We were swarming to the football, all game long. We also had 7 sacks in this game. And that's the difference makers. That's what we haven't seen in these past couple of weeks, but we saw it against Iowa State, and we absolutely needed it because there's such a, fundamental offense that's going to pound you all day and throw up those 50-50 balls to Xavier Hutchinson and get it to those big tight ends. We did a really good job defensively.
This is the last thing I'll say about the defensive line. When the guy that has the quietest day on your entire starting defensive line is Nick Benito, that's impressive. And I'm not saying Nick Benito didn't play well. He did. He absolutely did. He made a big sack on the final drive against Iowa State. But up until then, he had been relatively quiet. You got defensive pressure from Perrion Winfrey all game. Isaiah Thomas had 2.5 sacks, I think. Jalen Redmond obviously made a huge impact. When the front runner for All-American defensive end is the guy that's being the least productive that day, you're having a good day up front on the defense.
I would agree with that 100%, man.
So, we talked about the defense. Let's talk about the offense.
Well, if I had to grade the defense, it would be an A. If I
Okay.
had to grade the offense over this past weekend,
Hold on. What would you grade the defense, Emerson?
Yeah, I would say a solid A. Maybe leaning towards an A minus. Maybe back end played really well as well. I didn't watch the linebackers super closely, so I don't know how they played. But I mean, even Breece Hall only had like 58 yards rushing again, so like they stopped the run as well. So yeah, definitely at least an A, A minus for the whole squad, whole unit.
All right, Nick, go ahead.
yeah, offense, it seems like the past 4 weeks, it's either been the passing game or it's been the rush attack. And we can't get both together. Kenny Brooks actually had over 100 yards. I don't know if it quite seemed like it. He would have some good chunk runs, but there was a lot of time we'd get stuffed at the line. He had to carry it 17 times. I do believe so. But, Caleb Williams under 100 yards. We didn't have any receivers over 25 yards, which is, we're late in the season. That can't be happening. And that's my issue. And even the O-line, our pass blocking seemed okay, but the run blocking isn't there. And when you're run blocking against a 3-3-5, you should be getting at least 3 to 4 every single snap.
See, it is interesting because yes, Kennedy Brooks he had 115 yards on 17 carries. You're right, so 6.8 average. And he was getting chunk plays. He didn't like break one loose for like 30 yards at any point, but he was getting, like 5-6 yards a carry, consistently. And I think the offensive line kind of changed some blocking schemes as well. Did a little bit more zone instead of the GT counter, and I think that's more of the style of play this offensive line will be tailored to. But yeah, when you have 96 total passing yards between two quarterbacks, none of your receivers are going to have a productive day. And Marvin Mims, again, with one reception late in the game, and he finally, and it kind of ignites the offense a little bit and gets them going. But it's like, where was that all game? Caleb Williams completes 44% of his passes. He went 8 for 18 for 87 yards. And, Spencer Rattler had one completion for like 8 or whatever. So it doesn't make sense. Because the offensive line is playing well, I would agree that their pass blocking was sufficient in this game. But Caleb Williams I don't know, it seems like he's having more trouble than he did earlier reading the defense and fitting the ball into, windows.
Yeah, and
It's also better teams we're playing, too.
it is. And I've
That's
noticed
true.
that when we're going against better defenses, his progression isn't as fluid. On that interception throw, if he looks to his right and he either gives a pump fake or just looks off the safety, he's got a receiver streaking on a post route that has potential to be downfield ball for, 35 yards, could turn even into a touchdown. And another thing is for me, in the third quarter, Turner Yell has a pick, and we don't convert on that. We don't make points with a turnover. And then again, late in the third quarter, Turner Yell again, 4th and 1, makes a huge stop on Brock Purdy. And it's just like the offense can't get going when the defense gives them the opportunities. And that's something that you're going to need when you're playing these better teams.
Like Oklahoma State.
Like Oklahoma State next week. Potentially the next 2 weeks if we happen to beat them in Stillwater.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like one half of the ball only one half. You're only going to get good play out of one half of the team.
It seems like that all the time, doesn't it?
They're never complimentary. Yeah.
No.
The defense will dominate and the offense will put. I mean, okay, if you look at the offense's production, if you take away the giant run, the breakaway 74-yard run from Caleb Williams that I think was the busted play, take away that, and you take away Jalen Redmond's thick six, as they're calling it on Twitter. I can't remember who said it, but shout out to them.
Thick six.
Thick
Big
six.
Man touchdown.
Big man touchdown. If you take away those 2 plays, that's 14 points. And one of those touchdowns was just literally them finally running the ball and pounding it out with Kennedy Brooks 5 times in a row, and Eric Gray to get a touchdown. So passing the ball, I mean, we really moved the ball efficiently enough to score 1 touchdown.
Yeah, if you take – okay, let's take away that. Let's take away those 2 plays. But, there's been so many momentum swings in this game. Like early in the game, Iowa State gets that play call where they're ended up taking a field goal. It would have been 4th and 18 or something.
Yeah, 4th and long, yeah.
But instead, it's placed at the half-yard line. Potentially could have been a touchback. It's just the little things that it could either go OU's way or it couldn't. But it seems like, to me, if that was Oklahoma in that situation, it would have been incomplete. We're kicking a field goal. They're not even going to bother to look at it. And that's another topic that I want to talk about is special teams. Because if I had to give them a grade, it would have to be a D-. And I will let you guys know why I think that.
Well, let's hear it.
Yes, please elaborate, Nick.
Let's elaborate here, okay? You got an extra point. It's 25 yards. I know it's a little chip shot. It's on the hash, but you got to hit it. That's 3 field goals in a row that Gabe Burkich has missed when he was just a killer. Yeah. He was a freaking stone-cold killer all season long, but these past 2 weeks, it's been shaky. And then you just have a punt return where their punter is going to take it for 15 yards and look like Breece Hall. What are we doing? Everyone's running back. Just preparation on special teams not there. And that's one of the things. If you're going against Oklahoma State, you have to win the special teams battle. You can't look past it. And then Eric Gray muffs a punt.
Yeah,
it happens to go our way.
Really
That's why we're getting a D-, because we have to be aware of our opponents going forward.
Yeah, and what's one thing Oklahoma State and Mike Gundy have always emphasized? Special teams. That's where Tyreek Hill came out of. That Oklahoma's lost games on punt returns and kick returns against Oklahoma State. Walk off. Kick Yep, exactly. That stuff matters, and I think we're experiencing how significant the loss of Shane Beamer was to South Carolina. Which, shout out to him. His team just beat a ranked Auburn. Congratulations to them. He's a great coach. But that just goes to show you how important and impactful his influence was on the special teams unit.
Yeah, you can just tell that they were taking those plays off. And you can't do that against good teams, and it's going to get you beat.
It seems like, like Oklahoma is almost, I hate to say it, they're still kind of just sleepwalking through the regular season. And it's like, this is the last game of the regular season. You can't be sleepwalking anymore. You need to wake up because, your defense bailed you out. in this game, and you had one lucky play from a freak run play that like never happens, and Oklahoma State's got like the fourth best defense in the country. They're legit.
Yeah, they're really good.
And Spencer Sanders is playing well, and they're putting up points. So Oklahoma it seems like they need to wake up, because it just seems like they can never get it completely together.
I'm scared, fellas.
Yeah.
I can tell you for the first time since 2011, I am scared to play Oklahoma State.
Rightfully so. They're a really good football team.
If you're scared, go to church. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
No, yes, I am very worried about this game as well. I mean, if Oklahoma loses this game, it's Oklahoma State Baylor in the Big 12 championship.
It is. And then if Oklahoma wins the game, they play them again.
It's going to take Oklahoma's most physical game of the year to beat Oklahoma State.
Yeah. And people forget last year when Oklahoma played Oklahoma State, they were pretty beaten up. Oklahoma State was. They had a lot of guys out on the offensive line. They had a couple skill guys and guys on the back end and defense out, I think, if I remember correctly. And this year they're a lot healthier. So, it'll definitely be interesting to see how that game falls out. But anyway, we can continue to talk about Iowa State for now.
I mean, we've talked about it so far. I mean,
yeah, that's pretty much wrapped up for what I got.
Do we know
on
anything
Iowa
about
State.
Rame? I know Rame left the game, and Conjul came in, and I didn't see Rame. That was like mid third quarter.
I haven't heard anything about that.
I haven't heard anything either. It's worrisome, but I thought Asamoah also played really well when things were getting kind of chippy there early in the game. After a couple series after that, Asamoah was in on everything, and he was just being a force to be reckoned with. So,
Adam just cracked open a beer. If you didn't hear that, disrupted our show.
Well, sometimes you just gotta have a drink. Let the man drink.
But Nick, I do want to ask: did you see how well the wide receivers played as far as like getting separation in their routes and excuse me, being available in windows for Caleb Williams?
There was a few there. Caleb Williams did not pick up on some open guys in the center of the field. He did not. Yeah. I saw that myself.
Yeah, the thing is, when you're playing against that 3-3-5, it's all timing. And there's so small windows, and he's young. I don't think he's seen that all year, really. And Iowa State does a really good job of playing it. They know that system extremely well. That's why I was worried going into this game. But, that's just something he's going to have to work on. And that, like I said earlier, it's just he kind of struggles against better defenses. So I did see that. We had opportunities and we missed them. And he kind of holds it a little bit too long. So just take that check down when in doubt.
Because in the Texas game, he had like no hesitation. He was just slinging it, and he played a lot better. And in the TCU game as well. And now I don't know where this hesitation has came from. Maybe the Kansas game and that interception. I don't know. Maybe Baylor, but I don't know where this hesitation came from. But it's
just probably a combination, though. Probably, he's thrown a couple interceptions, and when you have 3 linebackers and 5 defensive backs back there, it's hard to pick a guy and go with it, especially when we really haven't had too many breakout receivers. Hazelwood had that big game with a hat trick, and Marvin Mims is Marvin Mims. He had a big game against Texas, but really other than that, we haven't had big days from the wideout end.
Yeah, I will say, I think honestly, as far as because we haven't seen anything from Stogner in a long time.
Nope.
Pretty much all season. Pretty much.
I think he has one touchdown.
I think he had a pretty good game against West Virginia and Nebraska maybe. But Tulane, he had some catches, but I mean, if you want to compare tight ends between Stogner and Kohler, I mean, it's crazy to think that Kohler came out of Norman, Oklahoma, and
that's sad.
Not
That's a
to
sad
disparage
loss.
Stogner. What?
I'm saying that's a sad loss because the dude's about 6'7", massive dude and good hands.
And he's balled out every time he's played Oklahoma. So, and he had a lot of really nice routes and a lot of really nice catches, and you're just not seeing that from Stogner.
It's just so
right
big,
now,
though.
It's a huge frame
so
to
Stogner,
try to
though,
defend.
like you would think. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too hard on him, and I'm sure that what he went through in the last year after the Kansas game, I'm sure all of that has a huge part to play in it. But I just want to see him get back in rhythm, I guess. And time's running out.
Yeah, but it's really this whole receiving core. Like, I know Stogner really hasn't done much at all. He's got a touchdown on him. He could have another one, maybe two, but as of what I know, I've seen him catch one.
He's had a couple big drops in the last couple games, like on third downs and things. So.
Yeah, and I know, now that you bring it up, Mike Woods had a drag route. Taylor, you saw that. We were sitting right there. We were pissed off about it, but it was a 3-yard drag route, and he drops it. It's like, come on. Like, Oklahoma's receiving core is not living up to the expectations that I had for him in the offseason.
Yeah.
The whole team isn't.
Yeah, it's just a giant combination. We're just not quite there. There's a lot of progression to be made, even in this upcoming offseason.
There you go. And at the end of the day, we're 10-1. Oklahoma State's 10-1. It's all there still. The Big 12 championship's still there. A lot of chaos has to happen for us to make the college football playoff. But it can still happen. If we don't make the college football playoff, we can still make a good bowl game like we did last year. Whatever. That's a topic for another day at another time. Today's Sunday. The college football playoff rankings come out Tuesday. We'll probably make a video on that eventually. We're also going to make a video on the OU-OSU game preview, but we may tie those in together. I don't know yet. We'll see. We're regular Joes, so I guess we'll worry about that one.
Tune in. There's going to be a lot of good information. A huge game, and we're going to be really in-depth about this, and I'm excited for it.
Yep, me too. So we're going to wrap it up. Emerson, do you got anything?
I will say Caleb Williams' interception was off a tipped ball. So can't really place all the blame with that one on him. I will say that. But one thing I do want to ask real quick is why did Spencer Rattler come in the game?
Because Caleb Williams' helmet came off.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what happened? I didn't see that.
Yeah, if your helmet comes off in the game, you have to sit out a play.
Okay. I did not see that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I got. Yeah. Tune in next week or later on this week for the preview. It'll be great. And follow us on Twitter and Facebook.
There you go. Nick?
That's what I got.
All right, Boomer Sooner. So we'll see you guys later. Adios.
Coach. Hey, you guys want a Boomer Sooner from Coach? Boomer! 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 Texas still!
That's how we do it around here.